Hi, good evening. We are today with Chris Campbell. He has agreed to answer a few questions for us. Chris trained in Maidstone under John Wernham, what we call today Classical Osteopathy. So, hi Chris.
Hello.
We would like to know, how did you get into osteopathy first?
Well, it's a fairly simple story. Osteopathy was always in the background in my family. My mother was always talking about it. And I started training. There's no schools in Ireland, so I started training in massage and took courses in manipulation and looked around to see what other people were doing. And most people would take weekend course here, weekend course there, and then practice on the patients. And when I thought about it, I didn't think it was fair on the patients to practice on them without clinical experience. So I started looking for schools in osteopathy. Came over to England on a cycling tour, went to an osteopath friend of mine for treatment, and she said, while you're here, it would be a treat to have a treatment for Mr. Wernham. He's very old now, and you probably won't get a treatment because he's very further booked up. So I phoned him up, got an appointment the next day, and the rest is history, because he was teaching what I wanted to learn. And I've never regretted that, going and making the decision that if you want to learn something, you learn it properly, you don't compromise. Because she also said to me that maybe you'd be better off going up to the European school to get the modern teaching and then going back down and annoying Mr. Wernham to the clinical side. And that didn't make sense. You take the treatments, the education that makes sense to you, the proper education. Yes. Don't take shortcuts in it.
So that the Maidstone College was already in operation?
It was just starting. We were the first year in it. So we had the best of Mr. Wernham in that time because he was just about our sole teacher.
Yes. So now that you have experience, you've seen other schools, you've been an examiner as well in the schools. How much difference do you see between the way classical osteopathy is and the way modern osteopathy practices or is taught in the schools?
Well, I call it modern osteopathy, but the same problems have been there, the same divisions have been there since the very beginning, between the so-called specificists and the general treatment. And the people who do specific treatment not understanding how highly technical and specific the general treatment is. There's nothing general about it. And then you'd have the people who didn't do any real training and no understanding, just copying. That has been there since the very, very beginning of osteopathy. And it's there now, and people take small parts of it and make it into a whole. They take small parts like so-called cranial osteopathy, and now it's a whole. You may take a small part like muscle energy, and you call it a whole. Instead of treating. It doesn't matter what tool you use as long as you treat the lesion.
Yes. There's too much emphasis on technique. The emphasis is on technique, which students want to learn technique rather than treatment.
I was told in one school that in second year you have to make up your mind as to whether you want to be a structural or functional or cranial osteopath. What sense is that? Yes. You've got to make up your mind to be an osteopath.
So we could say that in classical osteopathy we have tried to keep those old principles before all these differences began, really.
And as Littlejohn put it, the problem with osteopathy is osteopaths don't understand it.
Yes.
And it is not bone adjustment, but it is body adjustment.
Body adjustment, yes.
And he was, even in his first classes, he was teaching about the environment that the lesion was in, not just in the body, but in the environment outside, and about the mental side of the treatment as well, which wasn't there up to that point. So he took the whole picture.
Yes, we see, for example, here in Spain, a lot of people who want to train in osteopathy, especially, for example, people who are being physiotherapists, they think osteopathy is just the quick thrust, the HVTs. That's how they see osteopathy. That really is very minimal, if we could say, part of what we do, really.
One small, tiny tool. Not a very useful one, but most people think that is osteopathy, that sudden movement that produces a crack. And educating the public is difficult around that as well.
In terms of results, if we had to explain to someone who's not familiar how we do in classical osteopathy, for the patient, this kind of modern approach, more quick, more specific, maybe more distracts compared to the way we do, what would you say?
The results you get with the quick treatment, the HVT and so on, it's got more to do with the immediate release of endorphins within the system. It's almost like taking a shot of morphine. The patient will feel physiological euphoria, think they're doing well, they haven't even started treatment. The initial response in treatment can be one of two: physiological euphoria, you get either in the first, second, third treatment, or it can be a reaction to treatment where the body's very toxic and you get it stirred up. And modern osteopath, Warren said that 50 years ago about the modern osteopath then, so nothing has changed, won't go past that physiological euphoria if they get there, and they're scared of the reaction because they don't know how to deal with it. And in the clinical training, unfortunately, that's missing, because the tutors don't know how to get there. So they've never gone past that healing crisis, or the three crises that you get in the progression to real health. And if you're afraid of that and don't know how to handle it, you're not going to go there. And if you get that nice physiological euphoria, you stop, the patient loves you, you're popular, you get more patients coming in, and you live off that.
Yes. So for example, if we had students who were thinking, maybe seeing this video, they were thinking, should I spend the money to do this training? Will that change the way I do? What is going to bring into my practice? What would we tell them? What do we think they can learn in 1 year if they were to do this? How would that change the way they practice?
It will change how they practice, because it will change how they view health in the human body. And that they're not going to expect quick results. They're going to spend more time educating their patients, more hard work. They're going to have to work harder to get the results because it takes longer. And if they're driven by money and money alone, then it's not for them. Because it's going to take time. And patients have to be able to pay that, and you have to take into consideration not every patient can afford it. So you have to make, there's always part of osteopathy, as Wernham was taught it when he was in school, and as he taught us, that you give part of your time back to the profession and back to your patients, so that you make consideration of those who can't pay. But at the end of the day, you get that satisfaction of having done something of real value for a patient, and you get them past that point, or you treat them through a severe crisis which would have left them crippled. And you know, as Warren says, you never know how many cancers you prevented. You never know how many Alzheimer's you prevented. Because you can't experiment on your patient. You can't stop and say, right, I'm going to treat you this way and not treat you. I'm going to follow you through and see which one of you gets cancer, which one of you gets Alzheimer's. You can't do that. And it's a wonderful thing to know that when you treat somebody. I remember one patient we took on, and she was 78 years of age, never had osteopathy before, was just about ending up in a wheelchair. She lived to 99, and she was never in a wheelchair. And she appreciated it so much that she never missed a week of treatment in that time. She wouldn't let her daughters miss bringing her for treatment. And if she got sick, she had osteopathy to bring her through the sickness, whether it was a pneumonia or a chest infection or whatever. And she lived walking and in full mental health till she was 100. If she hadn't been treated, within a couple of years of her starting, she was in a home, she would be in a wheelchair, she would be bedridden, and then there's the rest.
Yes.
And that's real satisfaction. It's all that.
So you would never change back, like they say. To view the modern osteopathy would never cross the mind of a classical. Same on a patient, you think the patients will go have that kind of treatment if they have experienced the body adjustment?
Not if they've had real treatment, they won't. It depends on what the patient is looking for as well. And it doesn't mean that you disregard other techniques. All techniques have a part in osteopathy, but in their place. But we don't discard the foundation stone of osteopathy, which is body adjustment. Not bone adjustment, but porosity adjustment, and that's the foundation stone. It's like a painter deciding he's not going to use paint. He'll have the brushes and all the nice fancy brushes. There's no paint. What's he going to produce?
Yes, that's one of the emphasis we do, for example, in the course, is to teach principles. We always feel, you probably will agree, that principles are not taught anymore in schools, really. Osteopathic principles. It's always that emphasis on, especially on the technique and other stuff, but they're all principles.
Well, they drive towards what's so-called, in modern medicine, the scientific approach, the evidence-based approach to medicine. And it disregards the main part of evidence that we have, which is clinical experience. But in all great sciences, the art precedes the science. We know it works, we don't know why it works. Then we go looking for why it works. And that's our working from principle. If we have to wait until we see, well, we can't use that until we know why it works, nothing would have progressed in any of the sciences, never mind in medicine. And it's driven basically by the pharmaceutical companies, because it's the only type of medicine that can approach it from that so-called scientific double-blind trial. It's the only one that can fit into that. And that's such a small part of ordinary medicine. I don't know why they've let it drive them so much. And we should have nothing to do with it, because you can't do that in osteopathic treatment. And if we work from a principle, it's different.
Right, I think that is clear. So we would like to invite people who are interested in this kind of osteopathy to maybe come and try, maybe speak to a classical osteopath and see what they think. And maybe they discover another side of osteopathy, really.
And another side to themselves.
Another side to them. Okay, well, thank you, Chris. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for inviting me.
Hope you have enjoyed the weekend.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.